Hey, what is up, you guys? This is movie critic Rob here with the Movie Channel, and today we're going to be reviewing my all-time favorite film of all time. I know that was kind of redundant, but most of you are probably wondering what it is. I put a little teaser on Facebook to see if anybody could guess it, and somebody actually did, and it was my fellow reviewer friend, Kevin T. Rodriguez. I think it's because I've talked about aspects of this movie with him for so long and with such veracity, I guess, that he guessed almost immediately what it was. I deleted his comment because I even messaged him because I was like, well, I want other people to guess it, and I figured you'd guess it, so I deleted your comment. But kudos to you, Kevin T. Rodriguez, for that, and I'm gonna give him a shout out on the comment or on the info for this video for his channel. He does some reviews, really cool guy, and I really want you to check his stuff out. So nobody other than him guessed it, and I didn't leave his answer on there. So you're probably wondering what it is, and a few people have told me that they're actually wondering what it is. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a slow grind here. It's a Disney movie, so that narrows it down by really nothing. And it was made it came out in 2000. So, wheels are turning, wheels are turning. All right. I own 2 DVD copies of this movie, a collector's edition, a regular. I own this movie on VHS, and I now own this movie on Blu-ray. I also did a custom cover for this movie yesterday after I bought the Blu-ray. So, if you don't know what it is yet, I'm going to bring out my VHS copy first. It's Disney's Dinosaur. And here's my custom cover that I did. But I bought this movie on Blu-ray yesterday. I got it on eBay yesterday, and I got to sit down and watch it. I'd never seen it in Blu-ray. And I wanted to see kind of, what the Blu-ray brought to the picture, and I was astounded. It was like I was watching the movie for the first time again, which is how I feel when I'm watching this movie. If you don't know why this movie is so special, I'm gonna put on my nostalgic glasses for a minute and give you a little bit of a rundown. This was by no means the first movie I ever saw. I think the first movie I remember seeing was The Mask, actually, with Jim Carrey. When I was in Cuba, I saw it in Spanish. But this was to my recollection, my very first theater-going experience. And that's something you never forget, especially if you like movies as much as I do, even though I didn't discover that passion until I was around 10, 11 years old. But this was my first movie-going experience, and I liked it so much. I told my mom, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. Well, I know I'm right because I have good memory that we went to see this movie about 5 times in the theater. And then I have bought all these other versions of it after it came out. Now finally owning Blu-ray. So, what makes this movie so good, and why is this movie my favorite from all time? Other than the fact that this was the movie that I first saw in the theater, it was the first movie that I was able to go to the theater and experience on a big screen like that, which at 4 years old, 5 years old, it really impacts you. Just seeing the grandness of it. And this movie, one of the things I love about it is its sense of scale. This movie really taught me what epic was. This movie really taught me how realistic, because I didn't see Jurassic Park until much later in life. So this was the one that, for me, showed me this is how you do epic. And boy, if you've never seen this movie, go out and get this movie. It is the very word epic in a movie. It's ridiculous. The acting is good. The lines are memorable. And again, this might just be my nostalgia glasses. Everything about this movie is fantastic. What I love about it is they took the way that they approached making the film was they shot clean plates of a lot of places. And sometimes what they would even do is they would mix two places. Like I think at the beginning, like at the bottom, like it's like a valley and some mountains. The bottom is Florida and like the top is Australia. And so they would do these things to make you, to transport you really into a world that doesn't exist anymore, into this period with dinosaurs. And I know that there are some scientific inaccuracies, but I don't care. And honestly, I don't hold to those sciences, so whatever. But I guess one of the things that, and again, I'm talking about how epic in scale this movie is. One of the things that informs that epicness for me is the fantastic score by James Newton Howard. Um, this, and again, I love music, and now I'm even doing some scoring myself. This is the one that showed me how epic music can be, and how, if used properly, how well integrated music can really like just give you another sense of just depth in a movie. It's tremendous. The score for this is tremendous. It's on Spotify, so check it out if you don't want to buy it. But this is one that you should buy. Like if you just want to feel epic, just pop this in, because wow, the themes for the nesting grounds, themes for there's a raptor chase in this, and meeting the herd for the first time. Like those themes, they're the stuff that gives you goosebumps because it's so epic what you're watching. And yesterday, as I was watching, there's so many good scenes, but like the Carnotaur fight at the end, which the Carnotaurs, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. These are Carnotaurs. If you've never been to Disney World and ridden in Animal Kingdom, there's a ride based on the movie that features them as well. That fight, they swell up the music at just the right moment, and it's like, oh yes. But one of the things I like about this movie is because, you know, if you've seen Land Before Time, if you've seen Jurassic Park, the animal that gets the, you know, like the head villain or girl or whatever, I know, yeah, it's kind of arbitrary because it's just dinosaurs eating dinosaurs, but anyway, was the T-Rex. And I like that this movie did something different with it in that it put a dinosaur that you never really see and really has never been seen again in such a great light as the Carnotaur. And now I know they took some liberties with the Carnotaur, and trust me, this movie showed me a lot about paleontology, so I know a lot about dinosaurs because of this movie. My mom, bless her heart, had to hear all that when I was growing up. But I like that they did that because it was original. I mean, the thing looked menacing. Like the dinosaurs look real. It doesn't, and I don't want to go into comparing it to Jurassic World, but in 2000 they made better dinosaurs than you did in 2016 or 2015, or yeah, 2015. This movie's 17 years old, and I just, like I said, I got it on Blu-ray, and I wanted to see how much it had aged, to see if it had aged, because oftentimes with CGI movies, what you'll often find is that the technology is kind of outdated. But I'm happy to say, and I was watching it with very discerning eyes, trying to really pick apart the visual. It looks awesome. 17 years later, it looks awesome. There were probably 5 shots in the entire movie, and it was because in the movie there's I'll show you. There's lemurs in the movie that feature heavily in the movie, and you know there's hair, and digital hair is really hard to create. And ironically, it wasn't the close-up shots, but the far-away shots. That sometimes it would look like a mat of hair instead of individual hairs. But when they got up close to anything, like any of the dinosaurs, any of the lemurs, the detail is ridiculous, and the craftsmanship is ridiculous. if you ever watch the bonus features for this movie, you'll notice that they reference Jurassic Park a lot, and I think they're the pioneers. Jurassic Park was the pioneers, but I think what these guys did, because they're talking and it's a Disney movie, they used the technology that had been developed and brought it that much further, and gave what I think is just a photoreal experience, which I think is I think it's why, as a kid, that made a big impact on me, because it didn't feel like I was watching a movie. It felt like I was watching like a nature documentary of dinosaurs. Yes, they could talk, but because they looked photoreal and they took the time to make them as realistic as possible, to where 17 years later, it holds up. Wow. All the performances in this movie are fantastic. D.B. Sweeney plays Eldar. We got some great actors in this, like Juliana Margulies, Joan Plowright. Great actors. The celebrity, I don't think, mattered. It was just what felt right for the characters, and it was great. There's a scene, and I'm trying to play loose and fast with the details to give you the opportunity to see this movie how I got to see it. But there's a scene with a meteor, and it's not the end of the movie, so don't think that's the end of the movie. It's a scene with a meteor, and it's ridiculous how real. And when you look at the bonus features, everything they did to make it feel as realistic as possible was just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And it pays off big time, because none of the shots feel dated. None of the shots feel like they were half-hearted in any way. It was just there, and it feels realistic, and it gives so much more depth to a movie that really could have come off really campy or as a repetition of Land Before Time. And it really did something original with it. There's kind of a lot of the Moses story element to it, where kind of almost on the nose. But I'm not going to go into details, because I want you guys to experience the movie for yourselves. Have you seen this movie? I really want to know if you've seen this movie. There's so many things I could talk about. The cinematography is mind-blowing. The detail, and I talked about the detail on the dinosaurs. The story, I think, is ridiculously timeless, because in essence it's a spin on the Moses story. It's creative in what it does. It's kind of like Moses and Tarzan mixed together. It's ridiculous. And I know it comes a lot from my nostalgia, and this, because it was my first movie-going experience, and just really what taught me how epic movies could be, and how just gargantuan and massive movies could be and make you feel. That I can rave about this movie. This is no bar none. This is a 5. This is like a 10-star movie. This is ridiculous. And again, I mean, there's so much I could talk about. The score, like I said, by James Newton Howard. Go and listen to that music. That is just, you will feel like you're on cloud 9, and you'll want to watch the movie. I have the disc, and just I pop it in every once in a while. So I'm like, it feels so good. And I know, a lot of people are thinking, well, what about Avengers, and what about like Pirates of the Caribbean? You talk about that all the time, but why is this? And again, it's just because this is the movie that informed me. This is kind of the blueprint that I use to judge epicness by. And so when I watch Avengers, even though, yes, it's a drastically different subject and topic, I judge how this movie made me feel is how I judge how epic other movies are, based on how they make me feel. So I think that's why this movie means so much to me. It has made a loss for words, because it's so awesome. But yeah, so I'm not going to belabor the point anymore. You guys know what it is. Watch it if you haven't watched it. I'm really interested to see who has. So if you have watched it, comment below. And if you have it and you really haven't popped it in a long time, give it another go. And if you can get it on Blu-ray, even better, because the detail is ridiculous. The attention to detail that they put into everything is ridiculous in this movie. So, have you seen it? Let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, and please share. This has been Movie Critic Rob with the Movie Channel. This is my favorite movie, and I think I'm going to go watch it again. So, I'm signing off.